What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, everyone having an awesome one. It's Randy Paddock here with Bull Chat with Randy Paddock, and we are at episode 15. If you're watching on YouTube, Leroy is here with me. If not, just imagine the best looking dog in the world is looking directly at you. So, I wanted to go ahead and talk about some things. It's been a while since I've been around. Sorry, I've been doing some traveling, but as I was traveling, I was just in New York City the other week. So I went ahead and I wrote this podcast or got ideas and inspiration and put stuff down on my notes on my phone to get where this one came from. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's the day after St. Patrick's Day, so hopefully everyone survived. St. Patrick's Day is my favorite holiday. It was a pretty low-key one this year, though, which wasn't too bad. Just had, some Jameson, a few beers, a couple cocktails, nothing too crazy. So I was feeling good today, got a pretty good workout in. It was sunny out in Chicago and nice, so I walked around a lot today, took Leroy to the streets a lot, so it was kind of odd not being crazy hungover the day after St. Patrick's Day, but I'm sure that won't be a regular occurrence. So anyways, what I wanted to talk about. So this will be kind of funny. I'll probably be jumping between like past tense and present tense because I wrote this. I was just jotting stuff down on my on the notes, like I said, on my phone. So it'll be kind of funny because it'll be like bringing back up what I was thinking at that moment. So we shall see what happens with that. All right, so airports. So it got me thinking about airports. I haven't traveled in a while or been to an airport or anything, so this was very fun for me because, like I said, I haven't done it in a while. I forgot like how fucking lame airports are and the traveling is. So number one thing is the Ubers around there. Holy shit. And you know how I feel about Ubers if you've been listening to the podcast. I have a very much a love-hate relationship with them, mostly hate. I think that they congest everything. I think it puts way more people that don't know shit on the streets driving around, up in law of averages of dickhead interactions and all kinds of other shit. In the airport, it's the number one for this. The Ubers over there are just weaving in and out of everywhere, parking like shit, moving in and out, not looking, disregarding. So it's the craziest Uber spot. And again, I'm a hypocrite because I use an Uber to get to and fro the airport. So that is a hypocrite part of me. But man, they're fucking nuts around there. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've been to an airport, they'll be like kind of parked like shit, and then they'll just pull out without looking. Like everyone's kind of flopping around, especially at O'Hare. And I went to O'Hare and LaGuardia. It's like two pretty big airports. Man, oh man, the Uber's on there, man. Don't get me started on that shit. And then just people in general. Like, people are nuts. And when they're traveling and when they're at airports, they're a lot more nuts. But I think I've cracked the case why they're nuts. And you've seen it. You've seen people going fucking crazy, right? At airports, screaming at people, being irrational, just kind of losing all like humanity, so to speak. Some people can. It's kind of like what happens with Black Friday sometimes when people get trampled and like murdered and shit because like there's everyone's going for the tickle me Elmo or whatever. But it's because people's emotions are very high in airports, and this is both a positive and a negative, right? So they could be high in a positive way, like they're very pumped that they're going to wherever on vacation or going to see someone that they love or a friend they haven't seen in a long time or just getting the hell out of where they're at or whatever. So their emotions are very high, so they're not very rational. So, if anything's getting in the way of that, they're freaking out because they're thinking so much about, whatever good things waiting on the other side. So that's extremely understandable. And then there's the emotions that are bad. I'm late, right? Something terrible happened. I have to go to. I'm doing it for fucking work that I hate. It's another whatever away from my family. I'm going to whatever. So people go nuts. So I always have a feeling for these people that work at airports for the fact that they kind of got to turn into robots or have like a like a just mechanism to like be emotionless because everyone else's emotions are crazy high for the most part, and that's why they act nuts. And it's fun to watch, and I always feel bad for the people that work there, but you kind of always see them fucking around and joking around after the fact with their buddies because it's just another day at the office for them. But I think that's in anything. Like when people's emotions are high, they're going to be irrational, and that could be a good high or a bad high. People make bad decisions all the time when they're like a happy high or a very like excited about something. And they also, when when you're pissed or whatever and you're driving around and you're already at like an 8 and then someone cuts you off, that's when people pull out guns and like road rage happens. So remember, try not to have like crazy emotion about anything. So get it that shit out before you do anything. So when life's going on, you can kind of relax, breathe, and have a laugh at it. But more importantly, you can make clearer decisions. You don't want to be one of those psychopaths running around the airport screaming at people who don't know what the fuck's going on. Cool. All right. So another thing that I noticed, and again, this is might be a little like me being a hypocrite a bit, but I don't know. But there's so many fucking dogs in the airport now. Like I know I'm a dog lover. I have Leroy. I love Leroy. You heard me talk about Leroy many a times. I love every dogs. I believe that. I think episode 2 I talk about it, and it's called "What's Up, Dog." I talk about that people that don't like dogs. I don't think they have souls, and I got a problem with them. But like, there's fucking dogs everywhere in airports now. It's nuts, and people have the emotional attachment dogs or whatever. They have just bullshit to get them, to fly with them. But it's wild to me how many like animals are going now. Like I got on my plane, it was like Noah's Ark, right? There was like 2 of every kind with dogs, and there's like dogs wearing diapers, dogs getting carried around. Like it's crazy to me. And then when I got back, something that was even fucking crazier. Some idiot had a little dog on a plane, and they made him like put him in the overhead compartment, and the little bastard like died in there. It's like what the fuck, right? Like that's wild to me. Like first of all, who's this? Who's the dipshit that works at the airport or like the stewardess or whoever's like, yeah, put your dog in the overhead compartment. And then who's the fucking dog owner that has a brain that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put my dog in there. Like, what are you, an idiot? That's crazy to me. So like, I love dogs and that, but they shouldn't be like traveling, man. Like, why? Like I get it if you love your dog, but like those people that like just bring their dog around with them for like an emotional, not even emotionally, but just like to have them with them, like fuck off, man. Like you can leave your dog for a little bit. That way, when you get back, it's that much sweeter when you see it. When I saw Leroy, it was phenomenal. Give him hugs and kisses and all that stuff. But like, or if you want to travel with them, like don't fucking fly. Get in a car and drive somewhere. Like make it a road trip, make it fun. But lots of dogs going around. And then I after all these dogs were going down, I was hungry, right? So I got smashed with the reminder of just the rip off and the raping that goes on with your pocketbook at the airport. So I got when I went to the airport, I was kind of hungry. I got almonds, so like a little sack of almonds, a water, like a smart water, and this like chocolate little protein drink, nothing crazy. $16. So, but what are you gonna do? You're stuck in there, right? You can't bring your own like liquids and stuff because they think you're a fucking terrorist. After you take your shoes off, they take all your liquids. So what are you gonna do? $16 for that. So it was well worth it. And then like etiquette on a plane, right? Like people still in 2018 don't. People have been flying for a long time now. Still don't have like proper etiquette on the plane. It blows my mind. So there's a few things that you gotta like get your head out of your ass. I think if you want to be a nice human being and a good traveler. So there's a couple of things you need to really pay attention to. I believe. So number one is your food. All right, like bringing stinky fucking food that's gonna be smelling funky on a plane is just a straight up dick move. So if you're listening to me and you're a person that does that, fuck off. All right, it's not a cool thing to do. And I'm not even talking about ethnic food. I'm just talking about anything that's gonna have like a stench that carries. Like you're on a tube with people for a certain amount of time, they can't go anywhere. You can't crack a window. So like, if you're gonna eat stuff, just be like very neutral with it, or don't get anything hot. I'm kind of against hot food in general. Like have snacks or whatever. Like no flights that too crazy long, at least the ones I get on. So like just get a sack of almonds or like like a banana or something. Like don't bring on an onion filled fucking cheeseburger with hot sauce and all this other shit. Like you're just being an asshole. So that's one thing you can have etiquette with. The other is kids. And I might be biased because I don't particularly care for kids, but like put those fuckers in check. All right, and I understand if they're like babies and stuff like that, like there's nothing you can do. They're gonna be like they don't know how to communicate any other way but by like crying or going nuts. I understand that. So I'm not even mad about the babies. But like if your kid's old enough to understand stuff, like be a goddamn parent. And if they're being nuts, like chill them out, like kick in the back of seats. Being crazy, like don't just ignore them if they're screaming and things like that. Like I don't give a fuck what your parenting style is. When you're on a plane, there's other people there. So your parenting style is get your kid under control and be a goddamn like parent. Right? Again, babies, what do you can't do anything. But if the kid can comprehend language and know what's right and wrong and they're just being a little shit, your job is to do it and just or get them off the plane, I think. And again, you might think I'm a dick or that and I don't have kids, but whatever. Like I just know when I was a kid and my dad and my mom told me to shut the fuck up, I did it because I respected my dad and mom. I still do it. I'm 33 years old. So if your kid's not respecting you or doing that, maybe you should like check yourself like on parenting or bring the hammer down on them or something. I don't know. And then also like farting for Christ's sakes. Like what the fuck? And you know if you've been on a plane, you've been there where you're sitting there and all of a sudden it just stinks to all high hell. Like for Christ's sakes, man, like fix that some way. Get up and go towards a bathroom. Again, you're in a tube with somebody stuck. Like have some goddamn common courtesy there. Because this someone by me just iced, crop dusted the fuck out of something, and it was terrible. And it was for a long time. It was just like lingering in the air. If it was a cartoon, there'd be like some green shit fog floating around. Man, it was no good. So stop that shit. All right. The last thing to that is like I'm partial to Chicago. You know this. I love this city. I think it's the best on the planet. But I'll tell you one thing where we're missing, and where New York City kind of has us beat, and that is flying into New York is awesome. So I've flown into New York, both JFK and LaGuardia, and it's super cool. And that's the one thing that Chicago kind of misses. Leroy, get out of there. Is that like flying into O'Hare sucks. Like it doesn't look cool flying in because you're not really getting a shot of the city. Whereas where you're flying into New York at night or in the day, either way, it's pretty cool because you see all of like Manhattan. You say New York City, Statue of Liberty, and like you come in around the water, and it's really cool. So if you ever fly to New York, it's better than flying in Chicago. Sit by the window and look out because it's pretty awesome. So that was my little rant about airports that struck me last time I was at an airport. So next time you're traveling, have some fun. Now I want to get into what I want to talk about, and I think it's there used to be this Too Short song. It was actually an album title. And if you don't know Too Short, he's a phenomenal rapper from the late '80s and '90s from Oakland, the Bay Area, and he had this album called "Get In Where You Fit In," right? And I'm pretty sure it was the album. It was for sure a song, but that always kind of stuck to me. You know, not even just I was the biggest Too Short fan, although he does have some kick-ass jams, but like you got to get in where you fit in. And I think that for your sanity, for your well-being, that's a non-negotiable. Like you got to get in where you fit in. So there's just some things that hit me that I want to talk about getting in where you fit in. So first of all, you have to get into the right industry for work. So as Americans, as you know, humans, we're going to be working to generate revenue a lot of our life. Why? Because we live in a time, not even a time, like a society that it costs money to live and to do things, so we need to make money, and to make money you need to work. You're going to spend a lot of your time working, especially this day and age because people are living longer, right? And shit's higher, like costs more. So you got to be in the right industry, you know. And I was for a long time, and then about 8 years, like in an industry I loved, and then I got out of it, and now I could take those skills and apply them to an industry that I love. So how do you know, in my eyes, if you're in the right industry? Is that you're excited about it and you want to be a student and you want to learn about it, and you want to learn not because your boss tells you or not because it's what you're supposed to be, because you want to grow and be better at it. So that's the right industry. So I would think about, you know, and there's going to be an excuse for everything. Well, I need to work. Well, I need this job. I love the benefits. I love this and that. I don't know, man. I guess it could be true. I think for everything, though, there's always a truth and there's always an excuse, right? Because in 2018, we have the most, you know, the most things available to be able to do kind of whatever the fuck we want. Again, I do a podcast here, you know, and I can get that out. You can get the word out. People are becoming stars on anything. You can, you know, it's easier than ever to publish a book, put out, like, get your word out, your message out, create your own thing. There's like it's an all-time high of entrepreneurs, you know, and different businesses popping up. So I don't know, you know, like I just need the job or whatever is kind of bullshit to me. But if it's to you, whatever. But like, you're not going to be truly happy. You're not going to get the most out of life if you don't fit in there. And how do you know? Like, how did I know it was time for me to change up my careers? It wasn't because all of a sudden I hated the people, because I loved the people I worked with, and I still do to this day. It wasn't because I hated the industry, because it's sales and marketing, and I still do it, right? It wasn't because I hated my boss or who I worked with. It's none of that shit. It's because I wasn't very excited about it anymore to want to learn and become better. So I knew that I wasn't excited, that it was probably time to bounce. And I moved into the new industry, you know, getting into the fitness industry and doing those things, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm wanting to learn all about it and apply things, and that's how I know I'm in the right place, because that's been a constant in my life, you know. And I'm starting at the bottom, and I'm excited about that, and it's cool, and I get to grow and do things. So I don't know. I feel if you're not excited or you don't want to learn, maybe you should check, and why not? It's never too late, you know. If you're 50 years old and you're living till 80, you'll probably work until you're 70 something. Fucking change it up. Who cares, man? You go around this planet one time. Figure it out. So you got to get into the right field that gets you excited and makes you want to learn. I think. All right, back to the notes. You got to get in the right relationships. You got to get in where you fit in with the right relationship. So this could be for friendship, right? Something that I've noticed as I've gotten older is that, and again, I don't know, like I was fucking drunk through a lot of my 20s and stuff. So I don't know. I thought I had a lot of friends, but did I? I don't know. I had a lot of people that knew who I was, a lot of people that liked me, a lot of people that liked getting hammered with me, but I think my friends have kind of all been my friends for the same amount of time. I had a lot of acquaintances, drinking buddies, but like my boys, my buddies, like give or take, I mean, there really isn't that many. And I think that's very normal is when you really break it down to like your friends, your people, like there's only a handful, maybe two handful if you're lucky or whatever. Other than that, it's just kind of dipshits or people you run into or acquaintances you have. Not to say that you won't make great friends as your life progresses, but I think, that's less than the people that you kind of grew up with or knew when you're younger. Again, I don't know. That's just a feeling I have. But like, also know that just because you grew up with someone or it fits, then like as you grow up, it might not fit anymore. And I think that's okay. And I think sometimes people want to keep around friends because, oh, it's my boy I grew up with. When that's cool. When I was 12, we were very compatible. But at 33, excuse me, we don't have shit in common. So why are we still friends? Because we think we have to be. That's not my case, luckily, because all my friends that I still have, I very much am friends with, and we still fit. But I see this all the time. And there has been a couple of people I haven't been as close with. And I think that's okay because relationships evolve, but you have to be open to them evolving where it makes sense. The bottom line is, I don't think you should ever feel that you have to be obligated to spend time with people or be obligated to be my friend because he's been my friend since fourth grade. Like, who gives a fuck? Your taste buds change, right? Your allergies change. Like your friendships are going to change for the fact that as humans, we're all going to go our own paths and find different things we find interesting and that we like, and that's going to attract us to people that do those same things. So if me and a kid I grew up with aren't into the same shit, how could we still be friends? Granted, we have that common bond that we grew up together and that we know each other from back in the day, but if every single one of our conversations revolves around 1996, like what are we doing? It might be fun for Wakanda Fest. It might be fun once in a while, but I don't know. I think you also have to get in where you fit in with the right partner, who you spend a time, get in a relationship with romantically, whoever the fuck it is. I don't give a shit. Gay, straight, um, poly, whatever, multiple. I don't fucking care what people do, man. Like whatever, but it's got to be right. I think. And why do I think this is because I don't think I've ever been in a right relationship. Hence, I'm 33 years old and I don't have a steady girlfriend. I'm not married. I'm not engaged. When the majority of my friends are, and that's cool. They've found that person. And the thing I've gathered is like you get a feeling. And sorry to all my ex-girlfriends out there, you've all been awesome and helped me out very much, but I've never had that feeling, I don't think. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, fuck yeah, like I can see myself with this person until we're old. You know what I mean? I'm kind of always like, nah, I mean, they're awesome. I like them for a time, but something kind of always fades. So that's why I know that it's got to fit, right? So I think that's something to think about too. Is that, and I'm no expert in relationships, so I'm probably the last person you want to take relationship advice from, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway. So fuck off. And that is that like I know, but I do know a lot of people that just stay in relationships because they think they have to, or they think they're supposed to, or they just get content. And that's the thing that'll kill you in life is being content and just doing things or going through the motions because it's easier. Trust me, my parents had a shitty divorce, and a lot of the reason why it was shitty was because they tried to stay together. I think because they thought that's what they were supposed to do, the stay together for the kids type of thing. And all that did was make shit worse because they should not have fucking been together at all. I see them nowadays. They've both been married like 18 years to other people, and that shit fits in like the spouses they have now way more than them together. So like if that like it would probably eliminated a lot of pain and crazy shit if like they didn't do what they thought they were supposed to do. And again, I think a lot of this stuff is best intentions and in that, but like who the fuck is they when they tell you what to do or what you're supposed to? Who gives a shit? I sure as fuck don't, and it makes living a lot more fun. So I think that's something to think about. Like, look at and always assess. I think that you should always be assessing things. I don't and be critical about it. So if you're in a relationship that's kind of been blah, like look at it, like, should I still be in here? Does it still fit? And if it does, giddy up. If not, I don't know, maybe figure something else out. This is the same with like hookup buddies. right? I don't think there's anything wrong with hooking up with people. Like if they say yes, you say yes. Like who gives a shit? Like I think we're past the day and age of like, oh, she's a slut or hey, he's a fucking stud. Who gives a fuck? People like to bang. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And that was something I think I was always good at. And hit me up, with an email or something if I'm wrong. But I used to have a lot of girls I would just hook up with, and they're like my buddies, and we would do that. And like we always just kind of kept it like very, we knew what was happening, and that like there was like a common, and that's why like a lot of it didn't end too bad for the most part. I mean, I was kind of a fuck, like I said, so I probably burned a few bridges I shouldn't have, but for the most part, like it fit because we both, I'm pretty upfront with what I want, and in turn people would be in front with me and we would agree on it, and then giddy up, there you go. But like I think you can fall into traps and into habits and into complacency. You know what I mean? So again, even if you're just hooking up and playing the field, like make sure it's a good fit because you never want anyone to get hurt, especially in those kind of situations. Because even though you might think they're casual, it might not always be. And then also with family, you know what I mean? Like spend time with the family that you fit in with. Just because you're together by blood, yes, there is something there, but it doesn't mean you got to spend time with them. You got to like them. And I've seen that in my family a lot. Like my mom's side, there's a lot of them, and a lot of people don't give a shit to talk to other people. Like they're not going to be flat out rude or whatever. I mean, maybe in sometimes, especially if they're drinking, but for the most part, you kind of hang with who you like, and I think that's okay. So if there's a member of your family that you might not like particularly care for or jive with or doesn't fit well, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't do anything for them because of your family, but you also don't have to spend time with them because you feel you're obligated. And that's kind of how I want to tie a bow around all these relationships is like spend the right time, not obligated time. Because we don't have a lot of time. We have, X amount of time on this planet. So why not do it and spend it the right way with the right people doing the right things than things that you think you're obligated to and resentment, I don't know. Just a thought on that. Again, I'm no relationship expert. A lot of my relationships have been fucked since Jump Street, but it might make sense. I kind of know a lot of what not to do, right? All right. Here's something that I think is very important, and especially because I'm big on exercise, I'm big on fitness, I'm big on working out your physical body and your mind as well, but also your physical body. And you got to get into the right gym. And whatever you do, whatever kind of working out you do, whatever kind of gym work you do, you got to get into the right one. It's going to help so much. So let me give you, for instance, I was in export forever. I fucking hate export. All right. I'm not the biggest fan of the cookie cutter gyms anyways, and especially the cheap. You're gonna pay what you get for. So if you're bitching about stuff, and I was an asshole just bitch about stuff, like what do you expect? If something's $10 a month, $20 a month, like it's gonna breed that kind of stuff. You always get what you pay for. So you can't really bitch about like all the jabronis in there fucking off, just talking on their phone, sitting on a bench, or doing whatever. Like that's my fault because I didn't choose to do anything about it. And I would go into, especially the one in Portage Park over here by where I live, just a fuckface fest all the time. And I would be in there so pissed off. And that's really not like me, but I would get so frustrated. I would like my like I was kind of talking about a little bit earlier, like my emotions would be high, so I'd be going in there already kind of like at a 7 or 8, and then there'd just be just people like just bothering me, and it's not their fault; they're not doing it on purpose. But since my emotions are already high, this little shit people are doing is pissing me off, and all it is, it's my fault. I was choosing to go there. I was choosing not to do anything about it. But I think it was affecting when I would lift some days. Like it was affecting certain things. Um, so it helps so much. I change it up. Finally, I just quit being lazy and being complacent. I'm like, fuck this. I'm getting out of here. Left, go to the Chicago Barbell Compound. It's an awesome gym, right? And I feel so much better. I'm around like-minded people that like to get shit done, that are lifting heavy, that are going big. I like that. I think that's fun. It's still 24 hours, which is awesome. It's got a lot of different things, and you can see yourself getting better because you're surrounded by, if you like, if you want to be a lion, you got to train with lions. I think that's in anything. So like I'm not around just fuckheads that are trying to do this and this, or bless their hearts, but people that don't know what they're doing kind of get in the way if you know what you're doing. Again, I think everyone should do fitness. I think everyone needs to go somewhere, but I don't need to be in one of those kind of places because I know what I'm doing. So I go to a place where now I can even learn more by better people, and it's awesome. So you should work out. You should go to a gym, and you should go to the right gym. It's the same thing with jujitsu. Like jiu-jitsu gym I go to, Redsvik, like those guys are fucking awesome. They're credible, the classes are awesome, the community is awesome. Like I fit in there, I like it very much, so it makes it fun. You know, so in anything that you do or any type of gym that you're in, who gives a fuck what people say, what the ratings are, whatever, whatever. Like if you fit in there and it's good, you're gonna feel it, you're gonna know, and you're gonna be better. So you got like try stuff out. Don't just get stuff because it's the cheapest option or because it's the most convenient or whatever, whatever, because it's gonna fuck up your shit if you're not happy and you don't really fit in there. Trust me, I lived that for a long time. My inner bitch and laziness, made that happen. I made a little change, and like the day one of the change, it was good. So you gotta get in where you fit in with that. Kind of piggybacking off that, you gotta get in where you fit in. You gotta have the right diet and the food that you consume, especially when you're trying to get into shape or things like that. A lot of what you eat is going to shape it. It's not just working out. Like that's a small part of it. The kitchen is the bigger part. So you got to stop. You can't look at things as like it's a diet. Anyways, it's the diet. When I say diet, I don't mean like, I don't know, Atkins or like the beach body diet or whatever. I mean like it's just like dieting, like the diet, like the food that you eat. So do what makes you feel good. So experiment with different things, and whatever makes you operate at the highest level and you're feeling the best, that's what you should stick with. Not what so and so says or so and so says or this new fad or this new fad. If it's ketogenic, do that. If it's low carb, do that. If it's primal, do that. If it's I eat 12 times a day, do that. If it's my fucking, whatever, whatever, whatever makes you feel good, that's the one you should do, because that's going to be easier to stick to, as opposed to doing something because my favorite Instagram asshole told me to do so, or because this is what's in this magazine, or this is what so and so says. Again, you can use those as great tipping points to try, but if you try something and it's really hard for you, or you don't feel good about it, or you feel like shit and you're not seeing good results, then don't keep doing it because you think you're supposed to because someone else is doing it and getting good results. That is idiotic. Okay? So I just think here's a simple way: healthy and simple. Whatever your diet is, make sure it's healthy. So, what's health? There's so many different caps. Should I be doing high protein, high fat, low carb, high carb, whatever, whatever? So, like healthy stuff. Get some proteins. Eat stuff with a face on it. Eat some vegetables. Don't eat a crazy amount of those complex carbohydrates and crazy shit. Don't eat a fucking bunch of pasta, a bunch of pizza. Don't eat sugar, right? Like simple stuff like that. So be healthy and simple, and you'll stick to it, and you're gonna feel good. And then if there's other diets you want to try, do those as well. Who gives a shit? But don't put garbage in your body and expect it to run at a great level. And you'll notice once you put good stuff in your body, you have this like fog that's been in your brain go away. You're sleeping better, drinking a lot of water, you're hydrated, you're kind of more on point with your brain. Right? So you got to get the right diet, and think though, again, it's not a diet. It's like, oh, I'm on a diet. It's a fucking lifestyle. This is just the shit I eat. Cool. All right. You also got to get the right hobbies. So I think that everyone should have hobbies in what they do, and and when it comes to hobbies, I think you should ask yourself this question: does it bring you joy, or do you feel like you have to do it? Right? Like, as I'm supposed to. Like, going to the gym, if it doesn't bring you joy, don't make it a hobby. But if you think, well, everyone does it, so I have to do it, or I want to look cool online, you're an idiot. Don't do that shit. Your hobbies should bring you joy. So, like, I think hobbies are awesome. So I have a few. So I like to do jujitsu. It brings me joy. I like doing something that I'm not too crazy good at, and I like getting better at it. It's fun for me. Right? I don't feel obligated to have to do it. I like going to do it. The gym, obviously. I love it. Right? I love lifting weights. I love challenging myself. I love doing it. So it's a high for me. Reading books. I read every morning when I wake up. If you follow me on social media, here's a little plug here. Randy J. Paddock on Instagram, or the Paddock or our Paddock, whatever it is, on Snapchat if you want to follow that shit. Like, I do stuff in the morning when I wake up early. I'm having coffee. I like to read books. Like, that's a hobby for me. That's cool. I like to go to comedy shows, right? Not that I'm obligated to cool thing because it's fun. I like to go to concerts. I like to listen to music. It's like, I have these different hobbies because they bring me joy, and I like them. I just made this little fucking, I'm like a 5-year-old girl. I made this, if you're watching on YouTube, it's a little friendship bracelet I make. So I like little bracelets. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to make some. Right? Why not? You know? I don't feel obligated to do these hobbies, It's like when you're a kid, if you play a sport and then you don't like it and you feel obligated to go, you're going to suck at it. So do stuff that brings you joy. And not just because you think you're supposed to, or it's the right thing to do, or it's the cool thing to do. There's nothing worse than that. You can kind of tell that. Some of the people that go to jiu-jitsu because it's like a cool thing to do now. And they're just like not doing it right. Like, they're not getting the full experience of it. And I think people do that with a lot of stuff. Who gives a fuck? Do your own thing and what brings you joy. Right? Because they're awesome. And here's something to remember, right? Like, Netflix isn't a hobby. All right? Like, that's a time killer. Like, playing the ukulele, that's a hobby. right? Running, that's a hobby. Doing marathons, that's a hobby. Like building things with your hands out of wood, right? That's a hobby. Fucking binge watching Stranger Things is not a hobby, it's a time waster. Just remember that, okay? And again, Netflix is cool and all that shit, but like if that's on your hobby list, you need to evaluate life because you ain't living it right. Trust me. All right? And then, you got to get in the right mindset. Life, it's about how you react to things. Shit's gonna happen to you all the time. You have to be in the right mindset all the time. And I think there's a couple of different mindsets that people have. Okay, so I think you can either bitch or do, right? That's a kind of simple two type of mindset. You have the people that bitch about everything. Oh, I would have had this except this, or my boss hates me, that's why I don't get a raise, or that girl's a bitch, that's why we're not together anymore, or X, Y, and Z. Shut the fuck up because you can either bitch about stuff or you could do something about it, right? Oh, my boss hates me, that's why I didn't get the promotion. That's bitch. Or you can go above and beyond your job, make shit happen because smart business people want to work with people that are good. So if you're going above and beyond, you're awesome, you're going to get a promotion because unless the leader of your business is a complete dipshit, they're going to want someone like that and they're going to pay him more to keep him. Oh, that girl's a bitch, and that's why we're not together anymore. You can bitch about it, or you can make yourself better and more appealing to everybody, and you find a better girlfriend, or you get that girl back, or do whatever. You could do things about it. Assess maybe where you were a fuckface and change it up. Again, you can bitch about stuff, or you can do things about stuff. So what's your mindset? And I found that people that tend to bitch about things, they will continue to do that, and you become an excuse maker, and you become that person shoulda, woulda, coulda, and then you're dead, and then you're fucked. Okay? So, bitch or do. Also, you could be positive or negative. For everything, there's going to be a flip side, right? To a yin, there's a yang, there's balance. So, for everything that you could say something negative, I could say something positive about it. Just like anything I could say positive about, you could say negative about it. I choose to be a positive person, looking at the positive side of things because why not? This world's fucked anyways. I was sitting at this diner having breakfast today, and like they gave me a paper to read. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, yes, I would love to read the print paper, like the Sun Times or something. And like I was reading this part over the weekend, and it's not counting Sunday. Weekend's not over, which is today. But like there's like 5 different murders in Chicago, right? So the world is a fucked place. So why would I choose to look at the negatives when there's a shit ton of negatives out there already? Why not look at the positive? Like, how's it going to hurt me? How's it going to hurt me? Like, what's going to be the damage if I choose to look at the positive of things? I don't know. In my stupid caveman brain, there's no downside, right? I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not realistic. Like, I know what's going on. But, like, if I can look for a positive way or a solution, how's that bad? I don't know. Especially when I look at the other side of someone that's always. And my dad, I love him to death. He's one of those guys. He's a bit more negative. And I think he gets it from my granddaddy, right? Like, they just kind of look at stuff in a negative light. So, for everything he says, I can kind of look at it in a different way. And then we find them. Neither of us are going to budge, but we can find common grounds because both of us do have an open mind, right? But, like, you choose how you look at things. Everything's going to have a good and a bad. You choose how you look at it. And you can make excuses all fucking day. But the fact of the matter is, it's true. It's your choice. You're in control of your brain. You choose how you look at it. So, and if you need some help with that, go back to the last episode I did. Good, and it might help with that some of that mindset with it. And then, like I said, you can always choose to be proactive or reactive. You can let shit happen to you, or you can make shit happen. It's your choice. We have, an awesome kind of existence and experience in that we have free will and we can do shit. We kind of can see things coming. We can recognize trends and patterns, and you can know when stuff's going to happen, or you can go out and make it happen. You can wait for shit to come, or you can go out and get it. I was lucky enough to be taught that you're not going to get shit, that you got to get after it, and you got to go and get it. So, like, that's what you got to do. And for anything in my life that I never had, it's because I chose to be lazy fuckface and didn't get after it. That's it. It's on me. For every excuse I've ever made in my life, the common denominator is me. Same thing for you. Every excuse you've ever made in your life, you're the common denominator. You're in every situation. So you chose to let that happen. You chose to be reactive as opposed to proactive. Just like every time some bad shit or whatever's gone on with me, or I'm not getting where I'm at, or I'm not moving along, or I'm not hitting goals, it's because I'm being reactive as opposed to proactive. I don't have a plan. I'm not getting after it. Choice. That's what it is. And if you can get that right mindset of truly understanding that and then accepting that, it's an easy fix. True accountability is the scariest thing on the planet because we're 100% accountable for everything we do. So even that drunk dial or that awesome thing, and every end of the spectrum, we're responsible. So it's a very scary thing because we don't want to be responsible all the time when shit goes wrong or we fail, right? But it's also the most freeing feeling for the fact that you can change anything. When you have 100% accountability in what you do, you are able to change and fix anything. And that, my friends, is fucking awesome. It's way better than not feeling in control. It's way better than like, well, this guy's in control of this, or this is in control of this, or this is in control of this, and I'm just kind of flailing around. Don't be a fucking victim. Be a champion. That's what I got for today. So we'll put this one in the books. But remember that you got to get in where you fit in. If you don't fit in, get the fuck out and get in where you fit in. All right. So until next time, y'all have a good one.